we have a third party because he claims, somewhat unusually, that the Democrats and the Republicans are exactly the same party because both of them, in his eyes, just simply run up the US government debt and are completely irresponsible. The key here is, and it's the starting point, I think, for serious discussion, is it's one thing to tweet that you're going to form a new political party. It's a very, very different thing to actually organize that party and to do it on a very quick time frame, given that we're only about 16 months before the November 2026 congressional elections.
So, the lovers' quarrel between US President Donald Trump and Elon Musk has taken another turn as the space and car billionaire announced he is forming a new political party. Musk's new America Party, as he announced on X, comes after he warned that Trump's big, beautiful bill would bankrupt America. Here to tell us more is Professor Scott Lucas, Professor in US Politics at the Clinton Institute, based at the University College Dublin. Thanks very much for joining us, Scott. Tell us a bit more about this. What are the rules? Can Elon just form a new political party?
No, well, thank you, Harry. First of all, let me throw in to your theme, since we're talking Musk and Trump, the cover of Joy Division's Love Will Tear Us Apart by Nouvelle Vague. Now, these two guys, Musk and Trump, having effectively been partners in arms to, some would say, remake the US government, some would say tear it apart, have split over the last few weeks because of Musk's opposition to Trump's legislation, slashing taxes for the wealthy in particular, and removing support for renewable energy. So Musk has been building up over the past few days to the idea that he's going to challenge Trumpist legislators. Not all of them, but a handful in the Senate and in the House with his own candidates. How's he going to do it? Well, he announced that overnight by saying, the America Party, that's it. We have a third party because he claims, somewhat unusually, that the Democrats and the Republicans are exactly the same party because both of them, in his eyes, just simply run up the US government debt and are completely irresponsible. The key here is, and it's the starting point, I think, for serious discussion, is it's one thing to tweet that you're going to form a new political party. It's a very, very different thing to actually organize that party and to do it on a very quick time frame, given that we're only about 16 months before the November 2026 congressional elections.
So, I mean, the famous example people of my generation will remember is Ross Perot, a businessman who stood for US president way back in 1992. And I was looking it up, he got an astonishing amount of the vote. He got nearly 20 million votes. He got 18.9% of the electorate. But of course, he didn't win a single state because, you know, your system is very hard. It's even more first past the post than we are in some ways.
Yeah, it is, Harry. And there's a big difference there. I mean, I appreciate the example, but Ross Perot is running for president, right? And so that's a single campaign. Elon, of course, can't run for president because he was born in South Africa. What he's talking about is running multiple campaigns, because when you talk about Congress, you're talking not just about a national election. You're talking effectively about 50 state elections, and indeed districts within those states, all occurring on the same day. So it would be like if Elon Musk is pursuing the equivalent of a UK general election by fielding candidates across multiple constituencies. Indeed, I think the interesting parallel with Musk, given the place of social media in this, given the place of what you might call insurgency in politics, is the Reform Party in the UK.
Well, that's an interesting comparison because, of course, on current polling, Reform, even though they only have 5 MPs, and I think they actually lost one yesterday, as is their habit, they are on track to actually win our general election. So, I mean, surely Musk couldn't. I mean, Musk could win. Could he win one or two? Could he get one or two congressmen in? Could he make enough of a difference just to sort of swing things in his favour?
Without intervening too far into UK politics, I think that Reform example is interesting because it's one thing to say that you poll very, very well. Reforms still have to go out and field the candidates in a general election. They still have to organize themselves. And we've already seen, in terms of, although Reform did very well in local elections, the turmoil that's occurred just in recent weeks, where they've lost 2 by-elections within weeks of their victories because the candidates they put up for councils suddenly resigned or were forced to resign. That's the kind of thing which happens when you try to build up from scratch very, very quickly, and all of a sudden just say, here are our guys, right? Now, let's come back to whether Musk could do that, however, by running a focused campaign. If Musk does what he says he will do, which is focuses on 2 to 3 Senate campaigns and 8 to 10 House races, I think that is manageable. I think he can do that. But the first thing here is who are going to be the candidates? Who are going to be the people who not only will be guys that Musk likes, but have enough profile in their states with constituents to have a shot of unseating, let's be honest here, a Trumpist candidate in a primary, when that Trumpist candidate will have the advantage of being the incumbent and will have all the money and organization that a Trump-controlled Republican Party is going to throw at it.
Well, the one thing Musk
Elon
does,
Musk,
but Musk has money. I mean, he can afford this.
yeah, Musk has money, but remember, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars just for congressional campaigns and now in the billions if you take it all the way across the United States. And the other thing here is if this is just simply a case of Elon funding this, there's a risk here, which is everybody will look at it as the Elon Musk party. And the thing about Donald Trump's success is that Donald Trump, although he has effectively taken over the Republican Party, he's not the sole person funding it. He's been able to attract the donors. He's been able to attack those who, for various reasons, are running alongside him. And he can say, I'm doing it for the good of the country, the good of the state. If Musk simply is seen as being a one-person show in bankrolling this, I don't think it plays with Americans.
And do we know actually what his party, whatever we might, the America Party, what it might stand for? Do we think it's just his attempt to derail the big, beautiful bill? Or is it actually, do we have any sense of some policies that voters might actually want to vote for who aren't currently particularly enamored with the Democrats or the Republicans?
I think it starts with the opposition to Trump's big, not so beautiful bill. But that does bring up not just opposing that bill, that brings up a couple of important policies to start with. So if you think about it, where Musk splits with Trump, and indeed some Republicans split with Trump before they caved and voted with him in the last few days, is because the U.S. government is going to add $3.3 trillion on top of $36 trillion debt that it already has. And Musk and those dissident Republicans say that is not sustainable. Now, the question here for Musk in terms of his policies is, okay, if you're saying that you're not going to run up the deficit, are you saying that you are not going to bring in those tax cuts that Trump brought in for the wealthy? Is that what Musk is saying? That he'd have to be clear on. Secondly, if he's saying he's going to balance the federal government budget, is he saying he's going to impose even deeper cuts beyond the savage cuts that Trump has imposed, say on health care, say on food assistance, say on environmental programs? And then the second point of difference that brings us to a policy we watch out for with Elon is he opposes the removal of subsidies for renewable energy. So in fact, he wants to increase government spending in terms of subsidies for renewable energy. Now he says you need to do that because you need to outcompete China, which is pursuing wind, solar, electric power with batteries, et cetera. How does Musk square that support with the renewable energies with the overall aim of bringing government spending down?
Yeah, Scott, thank you so much. It's all the fascinating twists and turns in American politics. That was Professor Scott Lucas at the US International Politics at University College Dublin.